We're guys over here, and I'm Chuck Moore from TCM on air, and we're going to get started real quickly. Just a little housekeeping. Firstly, we're all here to enjoy the screen, so please be aware of your fellow fans. So go ahead and silence your cell phones now. Please refrain from emails and texts and taking pictures. And thank you. A special thanks to our founding partner, Delta Airlines. Their support enables us to fly many of our special guests, and they've been with us since the very beginning of the festival. And a big thanks to Citi, the official car of the festival, and they've been sponsoring the cool poolside streams. I don't know if you guys have caught any of those. There's one more tomorrow night, so be sure to check that out. And also DirecTV is an official partner. And join us for the weekend in the lobby. There's a nice photo op. You can put yourself into a famous classic film. And they did that at the office recently, and I was surprised how much fun it actually was. And also the TCM, we're looking to get the word out about our TCM backlot, our fan club, the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. You can become a member this weekend and be eligible to sign up for special backlot-only events and tours during the festival. Become a charter member for our new club. And don't forget, a new addition for this year is the new festival boutique located at Suite on the second floor of the Hollywood Highland Center. And as always, we have book signings for festival guests, so please check the festival app. Another great addition for this year. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce a member of the TCM family, Randy Cabercan, is Managing Director of Preservation and Foundation Programs for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Randy has direct oversight of the Academy's Margaret Herrick Library, the Academy Film Archive, the Student Academy Awards, the Nicole Fellowship Screenwriting Competition, the Academy's Oral History Project, and public programs. So please welcome Randy Cabercan.
Thank you so much. I know you've seen maybe All the President's Men, and you got a Manchurian Candidate coming up, some conversations, some really thought-provoking films. I'm not saying this is not a thought-provoking film, but I am saying that it's singing and dancing, and you're going to have a good time. And that doesn't happen enough at the movies anymore. So I hope I'm all glad you're here. Want to introduce the son of one of the stars of this film, who's here to talk a little bit about his father and also his growing up in Hollywood. Please welcome Chris Lemmon.
Hiya, folks.
Hey!
Great. Are you having a ball?
Yes.
Good. Glad to hear it.
So I don't want to start off on too stupid a note, but I do have to tell you that your photograph is in my chiropractor's office, which means, of course, we're really almost best friends. I know you haven't lived in the area for quite a while right now, but it's very interesting.
So it's me looking in my better days.
Yes. No, not better. Just very serious. Anyway, happy to talk to you, and I think that this film you told me is one Jack Lemmon film that you had not seen.
You had to open up that.
But it's interesting.
Of all the questions he could have asked, he opens up with, "This is the one film you didn't know." It's true.
So your first impressions of it, as you saw it in the past couple of days?
It was fabulous. It's one of those films that comes from that era, that marvelous sort of post-war era of innocence and great fun and success against all adversity, and everybody's romping around having a good time, and there's troubles and there's travails and there's hurdles to be hurdled. There's hurdles to be hurdled. You can quote me on that if you want. And of course, in the end, everybody's dancing around having a great time. But it's marvelous because in this day and age, when there is so much stuff going on, you look back at these films from that era, the 50s and the 60s, and you think about the whole kind of mindset of that time. And it's just this kind of joyous, everything's going to work out fine. And maybe it's kind of fun, to sit for 90 minutes and let all the cares go away and just watch a little bit of a romp.
And we're seeing your father as well as Janet Leigh and Bob Fosse in his first film.
Yeah.
His first
He just finished doing Pajama Party, if I'm not incorrect, on Broadway.
Pajama Game.
And Pajama Game, yeah. And all of a sudden, boom! Here was this, force to be reckoned with. Tell me the name of the other actor who does the dueling dance duel with him.
I don't know.
Tommy Rawl.
Tommy Rawl. Okay.
There you go, Tommy Rawl. Yeah,
That's why we
what
have
a scene that, what a piece of choreography that is. The two of them together, just fabulous stuff, and they make it look so effortless. And of course, it's masterful work at the same time. And you know, that's what this is all about. You take a look at all the different performances. Dick York, you know, that marvelous kind of big oafish character, and my father. An interesting story about my father aside. This film was 1955. Jack Lemmon, while he was filming this film, had just completed filming on a little film called Mr. Rogers. So he was about to win the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor while he was filming this film and didn't even know it. Yeah, it's a wild aside.
And of course, his role is he doesn't come on for a while. So he's the lead actor, but it's not, it doesn't have the same gravitas that he would later.
Right, yeah, and he still managed to get top billing for it,
Yeah.
which is, you know, so he had a really good agent.
Well, and I guess Harry Cohn, who ran the studio, was a big supporter of his too, though.
Yeah, and isn't it an interesting story that he wanted to do this film, which was a remake of the original 1940s?
Yes, and there was also a Wonderful Town version, which, and so it was a musicalized version, and Harry didn't want to buy the Leonard Bernstein music.
Didn't want to buy the
So
Bernstein
then
score.
Stein composed it, you know, so this is a different version of the same story as Wonderful Town.
And he actually posted a lawyer on the set to make sure there was no hanky-panky going on. So this is the kind of stuff that went on back in those days, and that era of innocence, you know, when you could do stuff like that. And it really echoes throughout this show, that marvelous abandon. And again, you know, it's just great for everybody sitting up there to sort of, you know, sit back and just smile for an hour and a half and watch everybody romp across the screen. Also, we should talk about the director, Richard Quine. And another
Acted in the Broadway version and then came.
Exactly, and then brought this out. He was a really remarkable guy, and a lot of us have, you know, forgotten so many of the greats from that era. But Dick Quine as well. He was also just one of those great guys. I remember him even as a kid, just being one of those grown-ups, and this was a big star, who actually would take the time to, you know, bend down on one knee and say, "Hey kid, how you doing? Yeah, good to see you. What's going on in your world?" So he was one of those kind of guys, and I think he brought that to all the films that he made, including My Cousin Eileen, Bell Hook and Candle, and his partner, his writing partner on this was Blake Edwards. So this is the first film, although ostensibly, that Blake Edwards and Jack Lemmon worked on together. They went on to do 5 more, I think it was, one of which I was in. I told that entire story so I could get that right.
That's live. So, ironically, that's live. So, and tell me about that. I mean, you were in 3 films with your father, and at the same time, you had gone to school to be a musician at Cal Arts.
Yeah.
And so here you are, you're kind of brought into the family business, so to speak. So working with your father and growing up with him, what did you take from him as far as his acting lessons and or his approach to business are concerned?
You know, and we'll get back to that. I'm a Lemmon, so I'll probably be off in left field within two minutes,
right.
but I gotta talk about the 3 films that I did with my father.
Sure.
No, but that's a very good question. I think the one thing that Jack Lemmon really did was bring a great honesty to all of his work. And it's interesting, when we had a chat about this film, the character he plays could be deemed, you know, not, I don't know, sleazy is the wrong term, but, you know,
On
just
the make.
a little on the make, yeah, that's much more decorously said. But he just does it in such a way, he always raised the bar wherever he went. You know, he was one of the most human beings you could ever hope to meet, and he brought that to every performance that he gave, in my opinion. Of course, he was a master technician. He had an enormous palette to draw from. He was such a rich human being, his character and everything that he did. But it was that honesty that he was able to bring to every single one of his performances, even if it was a little stylized, which of course all the performances in this film are. That's what this film calls for.
Right.
And that's what makes it so delicious. But still, you believe every single word that he said, and even when he's on the make with I just went up on Barbara.
Betty Garrett.
Betty Garrett. Do you know that Judy Holliday was supposed to play that role originally?
Exactly.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
The first two films my father ever did, back to back with George Cukor. Remember George Cukor?
Yeah.
The great director of Philadelphia Story, My Fair Lady. George Cukor. He did. He used to talk like this. You know, this was George Cukor. And he would stand this way when he talked. But yeah, the first two films Pop did were, and it should happen to you with the great George Cukor. What the hell was I talking about?
You were talking about your father's honesty in going into this, even this with this piece. And still,
Was it really? I was being serious like that? You were here to laugh. That would be. Judy Holliday was supposed to play Betty Garrett's part. And Judy, I guess there was contractual stuff going on, and Betty Garrett ended up playing the part. And it's a fascinating.
And Betty had been, was on the blacklist at the time, so it was a big.
That was a major move by the studio to do that. Yeah. Which, but there's a fascinating chemistry between Pop and Betty. That really makes the whole, all of their wonderful scenes together, even though Pop isn't on screen that much, just magical, I think. Yeah.
And your dad was only about 30 when he made this film, and Janet Leigh.
25,
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he play it? Exactly.
And Janet Leigh was 27, something like that. So they were a bunch of kids just starting.
Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
Janet Leigh singing and
Yes.
doing Bob Fosse's choreography. Who'd have thought? And she's fabulous. That's the scene at the in the park,
Right.
with the four of them doing the dance.
Right.
Yeah, terrific stuff.
So the one thing that I always liked about your father that's kind of tucked away in my head is a phrase that he always used before every take. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Because I think it's a philosophy.
Yeah, it's in the book that I wrote. Kevin Spacey, my illegitimate brother, and my father's illegitimate son, wrote a lovely foreword to the book, and he mentions it. He says, before every performance my father ever gave, he would whisper two words to himself: magic time. And it was more than just a calling to his muse, it was a statement of his character. And I think that sentence says it all. It harkens back to what we were just talking about. That's what this guy was all about, was bringing this great everyman. I mean, this character that you saw Jack Lemmon play up on the silver screen, is the bumbling, bewildered guy who tripped head first over the finish line to win the race. It wasn't a character he affected. It truly was him. And it carried over into everything that he did, especially the two things that he loved to do the most: golf and fishing. Fishing with Jack Lemmon was hazardous stuff. I'm serious. Fishing with Jack Lemmon was everyone else fishing, while Jack Lemmon would sit on the riverbank feverishly tugging at all the knots in his fly line, or getting chased by critters. No, I mean everything, bears, moose, eagles, otters, chipmunks. Have you ever seen a grown man being chased by a chipmunk? It's sad. But this marvelous everyman quality was him. And that's what made him so delicious. And what's interesting is you get to see it at its very beginning in this film you're about to watch. And that's what you're seeing now is basically about the fourth film that he did, and he's maybe about 3 years into the biggie.
And he's done a little bit of live television.
Well, he's done a lot. Oh, I can tell you stories about live television.
Yeah, that's another show.
My father's okay. The live quick. Do we have time? Yeah. Quick live television story. My father is doing live TV, and back in those days it was live. That's it. I mean, what you shot was what you get. And he's playing a surgeon, and it's a desperate. I'll do it as Jack. He's playing a surgeon who's desperate operating room scene. The patient was surely going to die. I had to do everything I could to save him. I'd cut his chest open. I was getting ready to cut through the muscles surrounding his heart. There was blood everywhere. I was so nervous. I turned to the nurse. I said, "Scalpel, sponge, hypodemic nerve." Did you just say hypodermic neural? All this spilling out of living rooms across the country? Yeah? And then she giggled. Followed by the other nurses. And then the anesthesiologist. And then the cameraman and his crew. And then the patient's monitor flatlined. And the corpse sat up. Did you really just say hypodermic neural? That's it, always.
So, there was another person that you mentioned Richard Quine and him coming to the house and knowing him. What was growing up with your dad like? What were the things that you, and I know you're doing a one-man show where you're kind of doing a tribute to him.
That was a little piece of it.
Right. What are some of the things that you've taken and put into that show that, as an adult looking back, you see differently than maybe the next time?
Well, there's the $64 question.
Yeah.
That's the unanswerable question. I opened the show stating, all of my life, the one question I was asked more than any other was, what is it like to be Jack Lemmon's son? Well, how the hell do you answer that? How does any kid answer that about any father? And the crazy thing is, that simple little question led me on a lifelong journey of discovery. It caused me to write a book and publish a book a little while back, which turned into a book tour that, a story, a very unique, but in so many ways universal, father-son story. About that most enigmatic of relationships, loving yet competitive, caring yet judgmental. And during the book tour, the message reached people. It turned into a performance piece. The performance, I realized if I was going to make it a piece of theater, I had to play a character. It couldn't be in my voice, and that's, of course, the character had to be Jack. And so, did my research and did my big rewrite, and we go to London. We open in June 1st.
Woo!
I wasn't begging that applause. Yes, I was.
You must often have people, as you're wandering around and when people don't necessarily know you, you must have people say to you quite often, who you remind me of?
No, I get a very weird look.
Oh, okay.
And it was really, I get like one of these things. And it was kind of put me off at first. I would think like, is something growing in my forehead? Is there like a really big pimple on my nose? Yeah, it's interesting.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing some memories with.
That's it?
Well, they're flashing the sign over here. I think we want to have a sequel coming up in a couple of other festivals, and at the same time, we want everybody to go see the show.
Yeah, you're terrific.
We'll all go to London together. How does that sound?
Well, hopefully by next year I'll be here. How's that?
Woo! Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
And it was really a joy to talk to you and get to know you a little bit. And thank you for helping keep Jack Lemmon alive and keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. Hey, thank you guys. Enjoy the show.